It's Wednesday, February 5th, right now on 12 News at 10.
I'm Gabriela Becerra at the Arizona State Capitol, where the sixth night of protests against immigration enforcement ended peacefully.
ADOT is scrapping its project to improve a busy South Phoenix intersection despite drivers dealing with bumper-to-bumper traffic during rush hour.
I'm Bianca Bono in Scottsdale, where officials are preparing for day one of the WM Phoenix Open today, an opportunity to test out all of the new changes.
Glorious on the green. I have your phenomenal hour-by-hour Phoenix Open and Bird's Nest forecast.
12 News at 10 with Mark Curtis and Caribe Divine starts now.
And we begin tonight with the sixth straight night of protests against federal immigration enforcement around the valley. Hundreds of people marched around the Arizona State Capitol this afternoon before making their way to downtown Phoenix. Good evening and thanks so much for joining us for 12 News at 10. I'm Caribe Divine.
I'm Mark Curtis. Tonight's protests weren't quite as large as the ones we've seen in recent evenings. Tonight, we're hearing from organizers about the push to make sure that these protests remain peaceful.
12 News journalist Gabriela Becerra has been monitoring these demonstrations and is live at the Arizona State Capitol, where things remained peaceful tonight. Gabby?
Well, Mark Caribe, state troopers cleared the last few remaining protesters from the state capitol just about an hour ago. Tonight, we didn't see any fireworks being thrown or street racing. Things remained peaceful, which the organizers I spoke with say is the best way to get their message across. For 6 days straight, protesters have been filling the streets advocating for immigrant rights.
They have a misconception that being here undocumented, all of us are criminals. That's not the reality.
But as the sun sets, the peaceful protesters seem to go home, and we've watched several of these demonstrations take a violent turn. From criminal damage to street racing.
Clearly it got out of hand.
Actions of demonstrators have led to police declaring unlawful assemblies and using pepper balls to disperse crowds. There's been at least 2 arrests this week.
We don't condone to none of this.
Organizations who are trying to send a message of solidarity say these actions are diluting the purpose of the demonstrations.
It's okay to feel angry, but it's not okay to act on that.
Reina Montoya, the founder and CEO of Aliento, Arizona, works to serve undocumented DACA and families of mixed immigration status.
If we really want to be a community that they're seeing all our contributions, that they're seeing that we want to really be part of this country, I think it's really important that the message that we sent out is a message of unity, a message of peace.
Some protesters at Wednesday's 50 Protests in 50 States rally went out of their way to make sure the event stayed peaceful.
Making sure we're not blocking any streets, making sure when large groups are crossing that they're crossing safely. It's not good optics if we're making people angry.
Montoya encourages people to redirect their emotions toward change that can be positive.
There's ways that we can show up. There's ways that we can continue to raise our voice, but making sure that we're doing it with a message of hope and peace.
And the messaging from the police departments who are responding to these protests is that they respect the right to peacefully assemble and exercise free speech, and they will only intervene if criminal behavior interrupts those activities. Live at the state capitol, Gabriela Becerra, 12 News.
All right, Gabby, thanks. Phoenix wasn't alone. There were protests across the country today, with crowds marching and voicing their opposition to changes made by the Trump administration. This is part of a nationwide movement called 50 Protests, 50 States, One Day. You can see some of those protests in several big cities across the country.
And one of Trump's actions that they're protesting about got blocked in court today. The federal judge in this case saying that Trump's order to end birthright citizenship is unconstitutional. Another judge in Seattle had previously blocked the order, but that ruling was set to expire on Thursday.
And while all of that plays out in court, today Mexican soldiers started arriving at the border. Their deployment is part of an agreement that Mexico made with the Trump administration to put a pause on tariffs put on Mexican imports. The goal for the troops is to help cut down on the flow of fentanyl into the U.S. The troops will be posted at spots along the border with high rates of illegal migration and drugs and weapons trafficking.
Glendale police have arrested a woman who's accused of driving into someone's home. Police say that Celeste Downer crashed a car into a home near 67th Avenue and Beardsley Road in November. A 35-year-old woman was killed. Court records show that Downer had been drinking. She is now facing a second-degree murder charge.
New at 10, a busy intersection in South Phoenix will stay busy for a while. ADOT says it's pausing plans to redo the intersection of I-10 and Baseline. 12 News journalist William Pitts explains what that project would have looked like and why it's not happening.
This road is pretty bad. During rush hour, it's bumper to bumper all along Baseline at I-10.
As for why this road is so busy, it's kind of obvious. This is the last road before you hit South Mountain. You've got Arizona Grand right over there. Over here, you've got the on-ramps and the off-ramps to the freeway, and then right on the other side of the freeway, you've got Arizona Mills.
According to ADOT, 55,000 cars a day come down the Baseline corridor, and they don't all get there safely. ADOT says in 5 years, they measured 232 crashes on the eastbound ramps, 202 on the westbound ramps.
This road is only 6 lanes wide. It's just not big enough for all the cars that use it.
So to fix it, ADOT pitched a bunch of options. The winning idea, ADOT said, was something called a modified diamond interchange. Basically, it's this, just more of it. More lanes, better traffic flow, not as many lights.
So ADOT knows there's a problem. They know how to fix it. They've come up with the plans, they've drawn them up, they've even held the public meetings. But the project isn't going to happen because the people in the area don't like the idea.
ADOT asked people what they didn't like about the modified diamond interchange. One thing kept coming up. Removing the light. Traffic light would go away. Removal of the traffic signal. The left turn from Wendler. And the light there would go away, making it impossible to turn left out of there. ADOT said you'd be able to make a U-turn at Arizona Grand. Speaking of Arizona Grand, they asked a written question during a public hearing.
As a representative of the Arizona Grand Resort, which owns and operates Enchiladas, we have serious concerns about how our access and parking may change and how these improvements will affect what we consider the, quote, front door to our property. How can we gather more information regarding the construction options, specifically more detailed designs?
We probably had a meeting with you previously. We'll be more than happy to have another meeting, one-on-one meeting with you.
Basically, according to the drawings, Enchiladas restaurant would lose a chunk of its parking lot to make a right turn lane. The hotel's owner did not respond to our request for comment. Someone else asked about how businesses would remain viable with construction.
It may be that the improvements are really necessary for them to remain viable, to get people in and out.
The money for the project is there. The Maricopa Association of Governments says since Prop 479 passed in Maricopa County, the project could be funded. But ADOT, who declined to talk on camera, sent a statement saying the project was basically dead in the water because of public criticism. Given concerns expressed by local stakeholders, they said, we've decided not to move on to the final design stage at this time. William Pitts, 12 News.
All right, well, thank you. All right, we are just hours away from round 1 of the WM Phoenix Open. But before the tournament itself tees off, the fun really started today with the Pro-Am. And then, of course, night 1 of music out at the Bird's Nest.
And if you're headed out to the TPC Scottsdale in the next couple of days, there are a couple of changes you'll want to know about. 12 News journalist Bianca Bono's in Scottsdale tonight with more.
Well, from digital ticketing to a brand new entrance, fans spoke very highly of all of the new upgrades here in Scottsdale, and officials here say they're ready for the big crowds. Wednesday night of the WM Phoenix Open in Scottsdale.
What's not to love about the environment, right?
Fans filing in for night 1 of the Coors Light Bird's Nest to see Jelly Roll.
What brought you guys out here tonight?
Jelly Roll! The concert comes on the heels of the Pro-Am, a day for tournament officials and first responders to see course changes and upgrades in action.
Everything seemed to go the way we were hoping.
Scottsdale police officer Aaron Bolin says it was a success.
Looking at the first look of sort of the crowds of Wednesday today, it really seemed to be that all that planning, all that effort, all the consideration into making this a better experience, not necessarily a bigger experience, really looked like it was successful.
Last year, wet weather led to a muddy mess and bottlenecks. On Saturday, even prompting alcohol sales to stop and the entrances to shut down. This year, there's an additional entrance, wider walkways, and a new ticketing system. Plus, fans can no longer use good any day tickets, allowing law enforcement to know exactly how many people are at the course at all times.
The crowds will be a little bigger probably throughout the week. Again, there is that cap because the other change is the ticket change.
And the changes didn't go unnoticed by fans.
I think it was something that was necessary and that we go forward and make this a safe place for people to have fun.
I came on Saturday last year, so it was like just so chaotic. Everybody was slipping. I may have fallen. It wasn't as great of an experience as it is this year. I mean, the sun is up, like, it's just beautiful.
Bolin says there were ejections from the tournament Wednesday, encouraging fans to have fun, but reminding them it's not a free-for-all.
It may not rise to the level of being a violation of criminal law, but it could violate the code of conduct, and that would be enough to get you ejected from the event.
And Scottsdale police say they will have a DUI task force starting Thursday night to monitor the area around the Bird's Nest. Artists Luke Bryan, Nickelback, and Tiesto are filling out the rest of the lineup this week. We're in Scottsdale. Bianca Bono, 12 News.
All right, Bianca, thanks. We'll have continuing coverage of the Phoenix Open through Sunday's final round on 12+. You can download it right now if you want to on your Apple TV, Fire TV, or Roku.